Hello, friends, and welcome to the Exploring Washington State podcast. My name is Scott Cowan, and I'm the host of the show. Each episode, I have a conversation with an interesting guest who is living in or from Washington State. These are casual conversations with real and interesting people. I think you're going to like the show. So let's jump right in with today's guest. All right. Well, welcome to this episode of the Exploring Washington State podcast. I'm sitting here today with Kinley Schmidt and Lauren Trivison. Did I do it? Did I do it right?
Did I say great. It?
Oh my God.
You.
I did it twice, folks. So this is maybe the first time in history that I've gotten the names right the first time. Kinley and Lauren are the founders of Gals Need Pals. And I'm going to kind of read the bio that was given to me from the PR company that sent it to me. And so it's, regardless if you're a transplant or hometown hero, making friends as a 20 to 30 something can be extremely difficult. Newsflash, try being in your 60s. Two Washington women are taking matters into their own hands, leveraging the power of social media to create a community for women that's taken off both online and in person. So that's kind of the super high level question. I got a more important question for both of you. You both have to answer.
Fantastic.
Why on earth Spokane?
Oh, Lauren, you can start on that one.
Yes, I love Spokane. It's the first place for me that's ever felt like home. I grew up in Olympia, Washington, so I've been in the state my entire life and ended up coming here for college and just fell in love with all of the big city amenities, but I didn't have to go terribly far to do anything fun. And then, of course, I was that lovely college class of 2020, so graduated 6 weeks into the plague, as Kinley likes to say, and went back to Western Washington. I was like, this is so much traffic for no reason, so expensive. I don't know. It was getting to be a bit much. And there's just something that my heart always said, go back to Spokane. I felt like my time had been cut short. And ever since I came back, I feel like my life has just taken off exponentially. And it's just so fun to hang out here. There's just a great community of people. Making a business of friendship has been genius because there's just so many kind women out here that I've been fortunate enough to meet, including Kinley and so many of our gals. And I don't know, I just feel like this is where I belong. I get to be a big fish in a small pond. I just kind of float around every day. And I mean, you can't really beat that. All
right. Couple questions. You went to school in Spokane.
Yep.
Where'd you go to school?
I am a Gonzaga alumni. Proud Zag.
So go Cougs. Sorry, couldn't resist.
That's okay. We support them, kind of.
Yeah, that's where my sister went. I'll go to a football game here and there, but the Zags are really where it's at.
Gonzaga doesn't have football, so it's not like you're being disrespectful to a program that doesn't have that.
Exactly.
Okay. So you went to Gonzaga. What did you major in?
I was communications and marketing, so worked out very well to be now just sitting and yapping with people on a podcast.
So you grew up in Olympia. What high school in Olympia?
Good old Olympia High School. As basic as I can get.
Okay. So why, when going back to when you were a high school student, and you're thinking about college, why Gonzaga?
At the time, I was looking for just a nice Catholic husband, so I looked at the Catholic schools in the West Coast, and Gonzaga was the one that worked out.
Amazing.
We when I was in college, which is many years before you, we called that the MRS degree.
Didn't pan out, but
it's still called the MRS degree.
Is it still called? All right. I don't know what you kids are calling things these days. No. Okay. So you went to Gonzaga. You wanted to go to a Catholic school.
Yeah, at the time, and then funnily enough, I left the church by the end of it. But that's how it goes.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, that's okay. So, and I'm with you. I grew up in the Puyallup area.
Oh, yeah.
And I went to school at Central, which is why I can say go Cougs or go Huskies and pick on either with, because I went to Central. I mean, who cares? Solid. And we moved back here to Wenatchee about 7 years ago. Not back here, but we moved to Wenatchee from the Tacoma area because I was commuting from basically Puyallup to Olympia every day for work.
Oh, gosh.
And you know, that commute just it's too much traffic for no reason. So that totally resonates with me why you would pick Spokane.
So for many years, I did the reverse, going from Olympia to Tacoma to work at the Nordstrom there. And then I moved to Tacoma, which I don't recommend. I did that for a few months and then hit the skids.
See, I got this love love-hate relationship with Tacoma. There's some really cool stuff happening there. There really is. And yet I left.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So Kinley, how did you end up in Spokane? Are you a native, or what brought you to Spokane?
I am not native. I'm actually originally from Lubbock, Texas. And then I went to school at the University of Utah in Salt Lake City. But my father is a Spokane native. My parents have a love story that should become into a rom-com because it's incredible. My mom was a flight attendant and my dad was a passenger. That's how they met.
Okay.
And
Wow.
my mom is, yes. So my mom is originally from Lubbock, and my dad ended up taking over our family company there. So they moved to Lubbock when my brother was 6 months old. And my brother's 3.5 years older than I am. And so I was born and raised in Lubbock, and then went to school in Utah. And then when I graduated high school in 2015, 2016, my parents moved to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, which is about 45 minutes away from Spokane. And I am a mama's girl. I always have been. And I knew that once I graduated college, I wanted to go closer to my family, but I wasn't quite ready to be in a town of 40,000 people or less in the winter. Especially without any young people. I was single at the time. I didn't know anyone. I didn't know a single soul actually moving to Spokane. But I got a job, and that's how I ended up in Spokane.
All right. So everything to me is about towns across the United States. It's like, what college was there? I know Lubbock's got a school. What school's in Lubbock?
Texas Tech. Go Red Raiders.
Okay. That's right. Okay. And so what did you go to college for?
So I actually originally went to the University of Utah for the ballet program. I was a classically trained ballerina, and the University of Utah has one of the top ballet schools in America. And it specifically had a ballet school that had an emphasis on teaching. So I always knew that I wanted to have some teaching background because I loved children. I always worked with children. Growing up, I was always called the baby whisperer. I fell out of a crib at 4 years old trying to get a crying baby out of their crib, realized I couldn't, broke my arm. Like, it was a whole thing. I knew I needed to work with children at some point. And so I wanted to
As a child, you knew you needed to work with children. Okay, got it. Okay.
Yes. And, but after my sophomore year, I was just burnt out. I mean, ballet is very, very difficult. So I just went into the teaching program at the University of Utah, and I got my degree in education, and then I got my master's in integrating the arts into the classroom.
So I know nothing about Utah, nor do I know anything about ballet, so I'm perfectly qualified to make this statement.
Perfect.
Who I would, in all seriousness, I would have never guessed, and had you asked me, I was a ballet major. I went to what school? No school from Utah would have ever come out of my mouth. It's just not what I would have been guessing things in New York, maybe Chicago.
What's actually interesting is like Indiana University and Butler University are also one of the top ballet schools. Nothing in New York is considered top ballet. That doesn't mean that they aren't a top dance school, but specifically classical ballet is.
I would have never connected the words ballet and Utah in the same sentence. I just would not have done that.
Well, because the LDS faith is very, very huge advocates for the arts. So I think that Utah has a lot of dancers, like a lot.
Interesting. So that gives me some context that I would. Okay. All right.
And so don't quote me on that. I'm almost positive.
Well, no, we're quoting it. That's good. That's going to be the headline of the show. That's going to be the headline of the show.
LDS Church. I know nothing really about the LDS Church, but other than I'm pretty sure that they were strong advocates for the arts.
Okay. So you both, in your early 20s, moved to a town in Spokane that's gotta be careful what I say, because very early on during the show, I made a less than complimentary remark about Spokane. And I actually had people writing me really annoyed with how I was just trying to be funny. I wasn't really trying to be cruel.
How about I help you?
But as a kid, let me go. Let me go with this. Okay. So we moved to Wenatchee, like I said, 7 years ago. My wife and I both like to see live music. Living in Wenatchee, we're about equal distance now between Seattle and Spokane. Spokane wins every time. If the same act is going to be in Seattle or Spokane, we go to Spokane. I've had so much fun in Spokane over the last 7 years, doing things that community has changed drastically. And it's got a great food scene. You've got a lot of great coffee shops. There's a lot of things really thumbs up for Spokane. Seriously. Mm-hmm. The problem for me with Spokane is its location physically on the map. If Spokane doesn't have what you want to do, where are you going? Boise? Seattle? And it's a long trek to go somewhere else if Spokane doesn't deliver on that thing. That's my only objection to Spokane. But you both moved there in your early 20s, single.
Yeah.
You tried. You went to college for that, but you didn't get the diploma.
Darn it.
And you moved here because your parents moved to the resort community that's outside of Spokane. So you didn't really. You had connections with your college alumni that might still be in town.
Yeah, had a couple.
But you moved there. You moved to a town of what, about 250,000 people there now in the city?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And you mean you just didn't make friends instantly?
I didn't know a single soul. And I moved here in the heart of the plague.
You're making excuses. Come on. No.
I was going to help you out and say that Spokane is really hard to. It's a great city, but it's very cliquish. The natives stick with the natives. My dad is a Spokane native, and he's still best friends with the people he went to high school with. Like, they are very loyal to their tribe, and then they don't branch out after that. So coming here not knowing them.
I'm teasing you because what you guys have established with this Gals Needs Pals thing was you built it because you needed it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And that's really cool. That's really cool. I'm really not trying to pick on Spokane. I'm just kind of. So
it's okay.
Kinley, you're a school teacher. I can't believe you don't want to hang out with the kids after a fun day of. Are you still teaching third grade?
I actually officially resigned from my position as a third grade teacher at the end of this school year to work on Gals Need Pals full time.
Okay.
It was very exciting. Thank you. It's very exciting.
Okay. But I can't believe you didn't want to hang out with third graders after school. I mean, come on.
I love them, but
after school snacks, cartoons, video games.
They're more in like the TikTok, YouTube era now, but yeah, cartoons are out.
Really? Yeah. I don't know what they're missing. Okay. So, Kinley, you started this.
Correct.
How long after you got to Spokane before you started this organization?
I moved in May of 2020, and I launched on Instagram September of 2022. So 2 years.
That's quite a long wait.
Oh yeah, I was struggling.
Okay.
Okay. As I say, being a teacher, my colleagues were predominantly older than I was. So meeting friends in the workplace wasn't necessarily an option for me unless I wanted to just be friends with a 50-year-old mother, which I did. I loved them and I got along really well with them. But there wasn't, I was single at the time. I wanted to go, meet people. I wanted to go to the bars. I wanted to live my life as a, early to mid 20-year-old. And I think I taught actually at a Catholic school. It's attached to the Gonzaga Corporation. It's St. Aloysius Gonzaga grade school. And in 2021, they told me to go to this Catholic women's group. And I was like, great, I need to make friends. I'm desperate. At this point, it was either I made friends in the next 6 months, or I was going to move to Seattle where my cousins that are my age live, and I had a community there. So that was
I could have given you another option. 6 cats would have helped.
Yeah, I have a dog. So
no, dogs are naturally friends for everybody. You could have just gone the crazy cat lady thing right away early.
Yeah, I could have
taken it on, embraced it.
Yeah, I really could have. I didn't.
Okay. And we're glad.
And then I ended up meeting one person at the Catholic Women's Group, and she's the one that actually started Gals Need Pals with me originally. She stepped down when she got pregnant and she had a baby, so she stepped down from Gals Need Pals, and that's where Lauren kind of came in. But it took a while, and it was that summer 2021 or 2022, summer of 2022. I think the Catholic Women's Group was at the end of 2021. We were at a bar. I was walking past a girl at this bar, and she kept complimenting my outfit. She was like, "I like your boots." I'd walk past again. "I like your shirt." Walk past again. Just anything to find connection. But because women have such a hard time approaching each other and having the confidence to just say, "Hey, you're complimenting my outfits a lot. Do you want to potentially be friends?" So that didn't happen, but I was with Mallory, and we were with our friends, and, her husband and his friend actually knew the girl that kept complimenting our outfits. And we ended up going out that night together, and we were the ones planning the night, later, the girls' night out, to mingle and create friendship. And so that's why we were like, why don't we just create something for all women to feel safe to make friends? Because I think it is really a huge need. And thankfully, due to that night, Gals Need Pals started, and she became a very good friend. Her name is Katie, and she introduced me to my fiance.
All right. There you go. It's all because of the boots. Started with the boots.
It was all because of the cowboy boots. Shout out to my Texas roots for those cowboy boots.
So your first did you call it Gals Need Pals at the very beginning? Has that been okay? So Correct. The first time you raised your hand and said, "Hey, we're doing this. Who wants to join us?" How well received was it?
It was actually an incredible response. So we launched our Instagram, and that was where we, as 20-something-year-olds, we're like, "Hey, how do you contact someone?" The easiest way to contact someone and contact a huge amount of people, it's Instagram for us. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to create an Instagram, and I'm just going to post like aesthetic looking pictures and just kind of tease it until we have an event. And at that point, we already had for starting an Instagram, we had like 300 followers. And in October, I launched our first event, and 75 women signed up to come to this event.
Wow. Okay.
I think only about 50 ended up showing up because there was no monetary responsibility. It was free. But it was truly, I think I cried that night. I think I was just overwhelmed with the fact that this many people felt the exact same way I did. And it was an incredible response since day one.
Those are really high percentage numbers for, and if you have 300 followers, 25% of them say they want to show up. And for almost 75% of that, they raise their hand to show up. That's really, really good.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
That's very cool. All right. So Lauren, how'd you get involved? What besides living in Spokane and wanting to make friends, but what brought you on board?
Yeah. So literally the week that they launched their first event, I had moved back to Spokane, and I am like an influencer content creator by trade, always on social media. I've been doing it, oh gosh, over 5 years now. And I'm like going through my new followers and I'm like, oh, this thing called Gals Need Pals just followed me. What is this? So I click on it and I'm like, wait, this is so cute. Unfortunately, I had like a prior engagement the day of their first event, so I wasn't able to make it. But I just started talking to the girls because I was like, wait, this is such a cute idea. Like, I just work from home, literally talking to myself all day. That's pretty much my employment. And so, that could get a little lonely, and I don't want to end up like in an institution or anything. So I was like, I should probably go out and make some more friends. So I asked them, or they asked me, somehow we got connected and went out for drinks the following week. And I got to know Kinley and Mallory a little bit. And I was like, oh my gosh, I need to come to your next event. So I started going to some of the events in the winter, and I was like, wait, this is so smart. And so I was just kind of like, casual attendee and everything. And I was in therapy at the time too. And I was talking to my therapist and I was like, wait, this is like such a smart thing that like I've been going to. And I've been kind of lamenting that I wanted to get more involved in like the business community and just the community of Spokane at large. Because at the time I really had like 2 friends from college that had stuck around. And I just felt bad going over to their houses all the time and being like, okay, I should probably like spread myself out a little more, because I was very single at the time too. And I just knew I needed a little bit more community than I had. So I think it was about February-ish of 2023. I was like, hey, can I help and like get involved in some way? Because I had more of the business and social media background, whereas they were, oh no, my network is struggling. Okay. Kinley and Mallory were more like educators in the medical field. And I was like, I'd love to just come on board and see what happens. And then everything just kind of worked out that I was able to step up, and we were able to really take it to a new level that I never would have anticipated.
So this may be a hard question because you may not know it off. It's not intentionally hard, but so as of June 2024, how many followers do you have on Instagram?
Over 15,000. And I think when I joined in last year,
15,100 something.
Yeah. I think when I joined on, did we even have 1,000 at that point? I don't think so.
Okay.
Nope. Yeah.
So you've got, let's just say 50, we'll just call it 15,000.
Yeah.
That's close enough, right? If it's 14.9 or 15.9, it doesn't matter. 15,000 people following you. Yeah. Primarily Spokane?
Now it's become a large number of Seattleites, just because we had a viral video out there, which just still blows Kinley and I away. It just hit 1 million views this past week, and that really just took us from just being this little Spokane community to now a Washington State premier women's event group.
I missed the premier women's event group video. So what was it, and why do you think it went viral?
So I had been in Seattle for like this little fashion thing, because I'm a fashion blogger. And I was like, okay, I'm going to get some content, because Kinley and I at that point knew that we wanted to expand to Seattle later this year. And so I was like, all right, Kinley, I'm going to get a couple little clips while I'm out there, feel like I'm being productive on this adventure. So I'm standing at the corner by Pike Place and just get literally like a 4-second video clip. I usually tell people have like a 7-second clip, something with a little bit of, meat to its bones, but it's just this brief clip. I find this random audio on Instagram, because I'm always scrolling, seeing what's going on. And I just say, are you looking to thaw out the Seattle, or are you affected by the Seattle freeze? We're here to thaw it out. And that just like took off like nobody's business. The comment section went insane, and we were just like, oh my gosh, this is happening. Because we were expecting our launch to be like, kind of get lost in the sauce. Oh no, Seattle embraced us with open arms.
Seattle showed up.
Yeah.
Okay. So I gotta ask you, because you've identified as an influencer, and you made a comment that just, I don't disagree with you, so I'm not like trying to argue, but I am going to ask you what on earth has gone wrong. You said it was like a 4-second clip, and you said normally you'd tell people to get like a 7-second clip, something with a little meat on it.
Yeah.
7 seconds? I mean, come on.
Yeah,
I mean, that's just like, have we all become goldfish?
Oh yeah. The attention spans of people have gone down significantly. It's kind of concerning.
It just blows my mind. It just absolutely, when you said it like that and you're like, this is how my brain heard you. You know, well, I found this 4-second clip and I tell people it should be 7, something with a little meat on it. I'm like, what?
We have been trying to push it to 30 seconds.
Oh my gosh, slow down. Don't stress us out. No, it's just, it cracks me up. It's like, and no disrespect, there's nothing, this is not me.
This is
okay.
Outside of me
but
too.
I'm like, oh my God,
this is just
what
the world.
on earth have we become to?
Yeah.
It's just baffling.
Imagine being a teacher during that attention span time.
What?
I don't know how you do it.
Imagine being a teacher during.
Kidding, but yeah. My wife is a testing coordinator at a middle school here in Wenatchee, and I hear lots of things from her. Once in a great while, I'll go to a teachers gathering after school, and honestly, it's exhausting to listen to them complain about the same 6 kids that they all share through the years. And it's like, I wouldn't want to be friends with, if my friends were teachers, I wouldn't want to be friends with them just because I don't want to talk work with my friends. If you know what I mean? It's like, oh yeah, little Timmy. Oh yeah, you'll have him next year. You'll have fun time. No, I don't want to. So
that is what we do.
But for props, you picked a phrase, the Seattle Freeze. You know, that was optimal that you went that direction. And so when did you push that video out?
So we launched that in early March of this year, and we did like one little teaser video, like, oh, something's coming, because I have a bit of an audience still from like when I lived in the Seattle area, and people are like, Lauren, are you moving back? I said, no, not at all. And that one did like decently well, but I was not expecting that other video to go completely viral. And we're like, okay. But then it was kind of a weird position because they're like, we're still several months out, like, hold on, we're coming.
So many questions. Yeah.
Well, that's good though, to build anticipation and buzz. I mean, and that's, although when you only have a 4-second attention span, they've forgotten it already, but anyway, I kid.
Don't worry. We post every day.
Oh yeah. We keep bugging them.
You have to. It's just so, anyway, we could go down that rabbit hole for the rest of the show. So you found Seattle then to be embracing the idea.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Let's flash forward to current day. How often are you running events?
Once a month in each city.
Once a month. Boy, that's a tough thing to say. Once a month in each city. Okay.
Yes.
Have you had an event? This is late June when we're recording this. It'll probably maybe be late June when it comes out, but early July. The June event in Spokane, what was it?
We did a little Bridgerton brunch. So we had this amazing luxury picnic gal come in, decorate everything for us. It's Luxury Picnic Spokane, and she did an incredible job. We had a couple of vendors come, and then we went to Inland Pacific Kitchen, just in the heart of downtown Spokane, in this gorgeous historical building. All the girls just dressed up to the nines in like the most beautiful dresses, and we just had brunch and chatted and hung out, and it was so magical.
Yes, it was really fun.
A couple of questions. So how much did that event cost?
We did like, I think $50 a ticket.
$50 a ticket. Okay. And brunch was included for that. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Correct.
So reasonable in today's day and age.
And it was family style, kind of all you can eat. So we all were very, very full by the end.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you said you partnered with the luxury company to do the food, but you said a couple other vendors. What were the other vendors?
Yeah, we had a permanent jewelry gal. I think it's Infinite Love Jewelry, and she did like rings and bracelets for the girls. So then they have kind of like a little memento that they could wear. And then we had one of Kinley's friends who is a photographer and does cards for like greeting cards and different occasions.
Okay.
And she's KT Designs.
Yes.
And so you're working this kind of from both angles. You're putting women together, but you're finding vendors that would benefit from that audience as well.
Oh yeah, of course.
That's really, I like that. That's really cool. All right. What's the July Spokane event going to be? You got to already have it planned, right?
Oh yeah.
I'm not putting you on the spot. Okay. So what's July?
mapping things out. Last year we would plan like 10 days in advance, I'd tell people, and now we're like months in advance, and it's a lot more of a relaxed lifestyle. But we're doing a Women Who Wine event, and it'll be at the Tipsy Vine wine bar here in Spokane Valley, and girls are going to come in. There's going to be a flight of different rosés, I believe, just like summery wines, very seasonal. And we're also going to have some meats and cheeses for the girls to eat, and they can just mingle, hang out. We'll have permanent jewelry from Swank Boutique doing bracelets, necklaces, charms, and the girls can just have fun and get a little tipsy.
Mingle.
The Bridgerton event. Yeah. How many attendees were there?
This one was pretty small.
Like 3 days with 24 women.
Okay. And the July event's going to be
35.
So are you typically doing 2 to 3 dozen attendees, or are you trying to, is that what is working well, or are you aspiring to go bigger?
It depends on the venue. Yeah. Okay. So we always try to work with local businesses. That's one of our biggest things. And right. It's just however many they can fit into their venue or a venue space at their venue is how many tickets we sell out. But we did have an event in May, which was a prom. It was adult prom. And it was actually it was open to both women and men. And that one was almost 150. It was 150 people.
Yeah, okay. Somewhere on there.
Well, now the Seattle events, once again, it's venue dependent, but are you trying, because Seattle's a bigger community, are you trying to do a little bit larger events? Are you going to maybe do 2 events instead of 1? What's your strategy for the bigger metropolitan area?
We're hoping to do just like slightly bigger events than Spokane, just because I'm sure there's going to be a little bit more space for what we have planned out. And then we also do something we call mini events here in Spokane. We've been taking a little hiatus just because we've been traveling so much. And those are up to like 15 women come to those. And so we'll probably do some more of that as we get further established in Seattle as well. But definitely see that being a bigger place, and we'll do like some 100+ people events a couple times a year. So it really just depends, and whatever we kind of have cooking up.
Remember COVID?
Yeah.
Go back to Spokane. Remember the good old days of COVID.
Remember
the Davenport. Yeah, Davenport put those igloos outside.
Yeah.
Davenport Hotel.
Yeah.
Do they still have those during winter? Did they decide to keep those?
Yeah. They do like Valentine's Day things, and
that could be kind of fun to have an event in an igloo or two. I mean, I just think I just thought the Davenport, that was a cool idea. My wife and I, our anniversary is in January, the most romantic month of the year. And here in Wenatchee, we went out to dinner at one of the little steakhouses, and to try to expand seating, they used greenhouses. Not the same.
That's cool.
It's just, no, it really wasn't.
Not cool.
It was really
good to know.
Bad execution. Anyway, I was just thinking, because we did some content on the Davenport about the igloos, and I just thought the way they did it looked like it was really kind of like, it could be fun. Like you could have use that space in a good way.
I've actually done the igloos at Davenport before.
Yeah. And how were they in reality?
They were great. It was really fun. Okay. It was actually during COVID. So
right.
It was me and my girlfriends from college. They came to visit me, and we just sat in there. It was a little bit chilly. So we definitely dressed warmer. I did not dress as warm as I should have.
Right.
But it's really fun. And actually our prom event was at the Davenport as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Davenport's cool. Those
Very
hotels
cool.
are cool.
Very cool.
Because, small business is fun. Everything goes perfectly. There's never a bad idea or an idea that flopped. I always like to ask what hasn't gone well, because I think we learn a lot from these things. So have you had an idea you thought, well, we'll do this. This will be cool, and it just wasn't well received?
We had like one spot event last year where we thought we'd have more people than we did, and we're like, where is everyone? And it's always rough sometimes too when there's like last minute cancellations and people don't end up showing up.
Right.
But for the most part, people have really shown up for us, and I mean, we plan
Cool.
everything far enough in advance now that it's kind of just a well-oiled machine. We know what we're doing. We've been good about like talking to the local businesses and saying, oh, this is our way of doing things. Everyone's on the same page. And yeah, small businesses have always just been incredible. And no
I really
complaints
like the
there.
idea that you're partnering with local small businesses because it's a win for everybody.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So you're trying to plant your flag in Seattle, and you know you're going to grow that market. Plans beyond that?
We would love to expand to
Everywhere.
as many places as we can. The biggest thing about Gals Need Pals is eventually, hopefully one day, it will make us some money, but that's really not our number one goal. Our number one goal is the fact that this is a need. Women need connection, and I think it's a need everywhere. So we would love to be able to expand. Our future plans are to probably just expand in the Northwest for now, and then we'd love to expand nationwide because we do get messages from all over the country asking us to bring Gals Need Pals to them. We've had someone reach out to us from overseas asking us to have a Gals Need Pals, branch in London or wherever they were in the UK. And we definitely feel that it is something that every city could really benefit from, or at least every surrounding area could benefit from. And that would be our number one goal, is to get Gals Need Pals out there to everyone so that women can feel that they have a safe space to meet and mingle and create friendships.
Putting you on the spot, where's the third location going to be? What would you say? You got Spokane. I know. I have a reason for asking this very pointed question. So I don't care what the answer is. You can make it up. You can say, Paris. It doesn't really matter. But
Paris.
Seriously though, where do you think would make sense for the way you're working, the way the markets are? Where do you think a good next location would be?
I'm thinking Portland, Oregon, because it's not too far for us.
Right. And I kind of thought that's what you would say. So you pick these are three metropolitan. Seattle's huge.
Oh yeah.
Spokane's good size. Portland's bigger than Spokane, but not as big. Portland and Spokane together are probably Seattle. How small of a community do you think your organization? That's why I was asking the question. I mean, would it work in Olympia? Let's say.
I was thinking that too, since I'm from there, and we definitely want to keep some distance between chapters, so don't expect like a Tacoma version just because it's so close to Seattle and Olympia. And we definitely want to
no we both know that the traffic, it's 3 days between Tacoma and Seattle. It's close, but it's not that. You could have a Seattle chapter and a Bellevue chapter in there. No, I'm just kidding.
But yeah, definitely could see like Olympia, just because we'd get like the Centralia traffic. You could even have people, I bet you $5 people as far as Aberdeen might come into town and go to an event. We've thought about even like the Tri-Cities and stuff, and just definitely some sort of metropolitan area, even if it's like a couple surrounding communities, because there are so many needs of people, and as long as there's enough businesses to kind of go around and people are excited enough, I don't see why not.
Yeah,
I think Tri-Cities is much larger than we give it credit.
That is
for.
true.
It's like 300-some-thousand people living there now within the 3 cities, and it's like 500,000 if you go the little outsides, not counting Walla Walla. It's bigger than Spokane.
Yeah.
And I find that very shocking and jarring. So we're probably looking though at city Spokane size, Portland size. That's kind of probably the pool that you need. Like Boise would be a good. I mean, Boise's big, but Boise would be a good pool. Salt Lake City would be bigger than that, but Lubbock. How big is Lubbock?
Same size as Spokane.
Okay, so things like Lubbock. Okay, that's okay. All right. What type of the vendors that you work with? Do you have like goals, aspirations of who they are? Like, do you have like this type of vendor that really works well for you, that you're a good complementary fit with?
Yeah, I think
Usually,
we really try to work with a women like owned business
Hmm.
or um, women vendors. I
Hmm.
think that we have had really great luck with permanent jewelry because it is a kind of a fad right now. We really loved working with Heart of Gold jewelry.
yeah.
She's based kind of Coeur d'Alene area, but she's
Okay.
incredible. She's also a young woman,
Hmm.
and she's also a teacher. So just she's incredible, and we have loved working with her. We've had her at a couple of events now, and
Okay.
but we do really just try to stick with a women
Okay.
owned
All right.
business.
That makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
That seems like a lot.
Women
Um,
supporting women.
right.
Well,
No, totally makes a lot of sense. Um, frequency events once a month in Spokane, is that enough? Could you go to twice a month? You
we
could
do
do
about
twice a month and
2. Yeah, we'll do like our bigger one, which is usually 20 plus people, just kind of again depending on the venue. And then we've been doing some mini events as well, which are the 15-ish group, and those have been
okay.
really fun because the girls, some people are like, we want something more intimate. It's a little hard to like make friends in a crowd at times, which totally understandable. So that's been really
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
that's very cool. This is a really cool concept, and it's so glaringly obvious when it's laid out in front of you. Yet, why it? Because your complaint, it's hard to make friends,
Hmm.
is been said for years, way before
Universal.
you said it. You know,
Right.
when I was your age, it was hard, and I'm sure it was hard for my parents when they were my age, back when fire had just been invented. So it's funny though that it's taken this long to kind of gel into this idea, and the idea of chapters
Hmm.
in a community makes a lot of sense. So what else about Gals Need Pals do we need to talk about? What else? What haven't I asked you? What does my audience need to know about you and your organization?
So our first event in Seattle is July 27th at
Okay.
Rapport in Capitol
What is
Hill.
rapport?
Rapport is a wine bar.
Okay.
I think it is a self-serve wine bar.
I think it's like
Correct me
an
if I'm wrong.
option there. Yeah, I know that they
Yeah.
have like little stations. I've been there once before, and then you can also go up and we'll have like flat stick or flatbread pizzas. We've
Hmm.
got a couple vendors showing up. We're doing a couple raffle items, so it's gonna be a party.
Okay.
Yeah. And
All
we
right.
only have 10 tickets left.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh!
Well, in our show notes, we'll put a link to your website because they can get the tickets on the website, right? Is
Yeah.
that
Correct.
okay? So we'll do that. All right. So when you're not building this, what do you like to do? Like, so a couple of questions I ask every guest. So I'm going to ask you both. You both get to answer. And please don't disappoint me.
Okay.
But like, I'm a big coffee fan. So like when I go to Spokane, I'm always looking for coffee. So do you drink coffee? Are you both coffee drinkers?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me a good coffee shop, coffee bar, whatever you want to call them. Coffee shops just sounds kind of like, Denny's or something, but like, where's a great place to get good coffee in Spokane? Kinley, you go first on this one. How's that?
Okay. Okay, great. I am a big fan of Indaba Coffee.
Okay.
Indaba has multiple locations in
Yep.
Spokane, so it's easy for us. But delicious coffee. Great.
Okay. What's your
overall
go-to
vibes.
drink? What's your go-to drink when you go to Indaba?
I am, as they call, a basic, bad word. And I do just get the same thing every time, actually, I switch up sometimes, but it's a skinny vanilla latte. So it's sugar-free vanilla, non-fat milk, or a matcha latte. I've been getting into matcha lattes lately.
Really? Okay.
Mhm.
All right, Lauren, coffee, Spokane.
Oh man, I had to go through the Rolodex because I go out to coffee way too often here. But I think Thomas Hammer.
No, there's no such thing as way too often. Okay. I mean, there's just
Thank you. I'm glad
Forgive
you get
yourself
it.
for that misconception.
Yeah.
Yes. No.
Okay. Yes. Thomas Hammer is my girl. I've been going there since college. They had one on the Gonzaga campus, and they have this thing called a fizz with the works. And it's like a carbonated coffee, which sounds weird and gross, but I'm telling you, it is the best thing ever. And they put like cream and vanilla, and it is just joy in a cup. And every single time, without fail, that is what I'm getting. Most coffee places, I'll try different things. No, every time at Thomas Hammer, a fizz with the works.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So
That's a good
in
one.
the late 90s, I worked for Starbucks in the corporate offices. And before I started at Starbucks, Starbucks had a partnership with Pepsi, and they put out a beverage called Mazagran, which was a coffee soda. Carbonated coffee in a bottle. No longer were carrying it when I started there. And it's kind of I was one of the first non-store managers to get a job in this IT department. So I think it was kind of almost like a college hazing prank. They gave me a bottle of this and said, "Here, drink it and tell us what you think of it." And thinking that I would spit it out because A, it didn't sell very well, and B, it was old. And I actually really liked it. And I think everyone was really disappointed. So you're saying carbonated coffee, and I'm kind of going, I gotta check that out. That actually sounds pretty cool. All right.
Highly recommend.
Okay. My go-to in Spokane currently is either First Avenue Coffee, which was just recently sold, or Roast House. I don't know exactly what neighborhood Roast is because they're in an industrial park. It's not exactly a retail location, but Roast House is the coffee roaster for First Avenue Coffee. I liked First Avenue Coffee because I walked in there and I geeked out over all the expensive equipment that they had. And I thought it was a cool space. And really, when I met the owner and that very, very cool person, I like First Avenue. I have not tried Thomas Hammer. I have been to Indaba. I like Indaba is a solid choice. But I'm going to have to check out the Fizz.
Yeah.
That sounds cool.
That sounds so good.
But also, because I drink too much coffee, I always have to eat. And so I always try to ask the question of like, when I get to Spokane around lunchtime, where's a great place for lunch? So Lauren, I'm going to ask you to tell me your recommendation first.
Okay, so it used to be Soulful Soups, which if you're there during the weekdays, still cannot recommend enough, but they're closed on weekends. So they've kind of been demoted from my list, unfortunately. So now I have to recommend High Nooner. It's this little sandwich shop, and I just moved, and there's one right up the road from me, and they just have the biggest, just most delightful sandwiches. And you can't beat a fresh, good sandwich that you did not make yourself.
So for you, wanting fizzy coffee, what sort of, now I'm going to expect you to have kind of a weird sandwich taste too. No, okay. What's your go-to sandwich?
Just like a club sandwich with turkey, bacon, cheese. I'm easy.
Okay, solid. All right. Kinley, how about lunch recommendation for you, from you?
Okay, I feel like I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm really sorry. I'm going to give you an answer, but it's not my fully honest answer. So I'm going to give you my fully honest answer second. So I was a teacher for the last 4.5 years, and which means I did not eat out for lunch. I ate at my desk for 15 minutes and then I'd go get my students. So I didn't go out to lunch. So I actually was talking to Lauren about this because I was like, I don't know any good lunch spots in Spokane because I wasn't going out to lunch. I will say, love Subdivision. It's a great sandwich shop. It's right next to St. Al's. It's incredible. They have great sandwiches, lots of vinegar on them. That's great. But my true, honest answer is a place in Coeur d'Alene because I spend my summers here. And it is the Fisherman Market. And the fish market has the best lunch. It has incredible sandwiches, incredible homemade fries. That's by far my favorite lunch spot. But Subdivision in Spokane.
See, I like you, so I'm not going to make fun of you. But whenever I have a guest on that's like, say, from Spokane's got Coeur d'Alene across the state line, Vancouver's got Portland across the state line, you get the idea. I've jokingly said before that Oregon's dead to me. Portland's dead to me. I've just basically just like air horn. I almost gave you the air horn when you said Coeur d'Alene, but I'm going to let it slide.
Only because I didn't have lunch anywhere.
No, that's fine. I'm teasing you. Don't take
We'll
me
change
seriously.
that this year, Kinley.
Yeah,
yes. I'm going to go to more lunch spots.
Check back with me and give me some recommendations. All right.
Okay, I will.
So when you're not organizing events, what do you two like to do? What do you guys do? What's fun for you in Spokane? Are you outdoorsy? What do you like to do?
Lauren looks like she's thinking, but I have
I
an
know.
answer.
I have to describe. Lauren is looking off camera up to the sky going, help me. I have nothing to say here.
No, I have too much to say. It's hard to decide and narrow down.
All right. So Kinley,
actually...
we're gonna let Lauren overthink this one. Kinley, how about you? What do you and the fiance like to do? What are you guys doing for?
Yes. In the nice summer months, I'm a lake girl, 100%. I love the lake. I want to be outside. I'm a water baby. My birthday was yesterday, actually. And so
happy birthday.
Thank you. So I'm a water baby, water sign, everything. I love the water. So that's my number one. Number two is I'm a big foodie. I love food. Although I didn't get to go to lunch very often, I do love to go to dinner. So Ben and I love to go try new restaurants, go out to dinner, find a good patio, have some drinks.
So what's a current place that's kind of in your rotation that you're like, yeah, we like going here, like this is working right now? What do you got for a recommendation there?
Luna on the South Hill.
Luna?
Going there tonight for my birthday because Ben was out of town. So yeah, Luna is incredible. It is the cutest restaurant ever. The vibe in there is incredible. The food is amazing. They always serve you fresh homemade sourdough bread at the beginning, and it is some of the best sourdough I've ever had. And delicious food, incredible cocktails. They have a little cute outdoor area. 10 out of 10.
All right. So I know I've never asked anybody this question before, so you're gonna be the first person. You said incredible cocktails. What's your cocktail of choice?
Always tequila. I'm a tequila girl.
How do you like your tequila?
I will take it any way. Cocktails, I like a good cocktail. Spicy is typical for my choice, but my go-to tequila drink is a ranch water, and it's Topo Chico, a lot of lime juice, and tequila. It's a West Texas thing. My grandfather made me a ranch water back in the day, told me about it, and I said, all right, this is my drink. So
Lauren, before you tell us what your activities are, what's your cocktail of choice?
Oh geez. It's either tied between an Aperol Spritz, because I got to study abroad in Italy, so that always takes me back to just being in Europe and traveling, and then I've really gotten into espresso martinis lately.
Have you had an espresso martini with good tequila?
No, but my friend has gotten it with tequila, and then the bartender made fun of her, so now I'm a little hesitant, but I'm more of a vodka girly overall.
Then that bartender is not a very good bartender, because coffee and tequila go hand in hand because they're both Mexican-based ingredients. So that bartender is not a very good bartender, because if you get a good bartender, they will actually be like, wow, good for you for doing tequila. That's better.
You'll have to take me out.
But you have to have like a vanilla-based tequila. So something like a reposado.
Interesting. All right. So Lauren, when you're not debating cocktails with your business partner, and
I'm really passionate about tequila. Okay.
I could tell. I'm impressed. Yeah. Like, okay. What do you? What do you like? What do you do? What interests you in Spokane?
Oh gosh, see, that's the problem. Is I love so many different things, and I can be doing a ton of different activities in one week, and that's what I love about Spokane the most. Is there's always something going on. So I mean, I am a Gonzaga alum, so I love going to like Gonzaga basketball games. I like going to our hockey games, baseball games. I tried a soccer game; those are actually pretty fun. I'm not a big soccer person personally, but if you sit up high enough, you can watch them kind of bounce the ball on each other's heads, and it was great. So I love going to like all the sporting events, mostly for the food, but like the vibes overall. Love going out to all of our different restaurants. Like the food scene, as you said, in Spokane is just top tier. I have a never-ending list of new restaurants to try. I am always going to somewhere new to continue checking off that list and trying out like bars, cocktails, all of the good things, and of course, different cuisine. I also love like our arts and the local theater. So I go to a lot of the musicals and things that come into Spokane and really just soak up all of the culture that this place has to offer, because there's a lot more than I realized when I was a college student.
And there's a lot more than I realized as a snooty West Sider for all those years. Spokane does have a lot going for it. It really truly does. Please don't send me any more hate mail. It really does. All right.
There are also really great farmers markets currently happening. Yeah. Like the Kindle Yard night market is amazing. That's one of my favorite things to do. So,
all right. So I think we've covered a lot, and we'll put a link to your website, or where would you like us to direct traffic to? Instagram or your website? Where's a good place for somebody who's interested in finding out more? Where's the best place for them to go?
I would say our website or Instagram. It's galsneypals.com, or we're at galsneypals on all social media. We're on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram.
Okay.
Wherever you hang out.
Are you on AOL?
Can't say that we are.
All right.
Maybe if it was 20 years ago.
No, more than that.
Yeah, more than that.
More than that. So last question. This is the most important question. And it's really unfortunate that you're going to both hear it at the same time. I really wish we could mute one of you so you can't hear it and then have to answer it without knowing how the other one answered. So please play along. Each answer is individual. It's got to be truthful. So it's a very simple question, asking the same question of you both. And you have to tell me the reason why you answered it the way you did. Okay. So who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay. Lauren's going first.
Cool.
All right. Cake or pie, and why?
I'm a cake girly because I love frosting. And when I was in college, I realized you could just buy little pieces of cake at like Safeway, and you don't need to have a birthday or anything. And so that kind of became my thing. And I would just get like little slices of cake. And my best friend in college realized that we were going to be best friends when I pulled out just like my cake in a little disposable fork in the car and was just eating it after we were leaving the store one day. And I mean, it's like having a cupcake or something. You don't need a formal occasion for cake. And I'm also the type to go to Costco and get like the half sheet for my birthday, even if I don't have a lot of guests coming to the party. So definitely a cake girly.
All right, Kinley. Cake or pie, and why?
Definitely pie. I'm not a big cake person. My whole family is not a big cake family. We didn't have cakes at our birthdays or anything like that. Cake was not our go-to. I feel like it's too heavy. I don't like it would have to be a really, really good cake for me to like it. I don't like the frosting and all of that.
All right.
I'm a big, but I do like pie. We are big pie people down in Texas. So like a crust pie, or my favorite pie is coconut cream.
Coconut cream. Lauren, what's your favorite cake? I should have asked that. What's your go-to?
Usually a good chocolate cake. I'm a very big chocolate person, with either a good buttercream frosting, not any of those weird like fluffy frostings. I've been burned too many times by those Safeway cakes. Or I love a cream cheese frosting. So either one works well.
All right. So interesting, the answers that people give. Some people it's super easy, like it's cake and everybody else is wrong, or it's pie, and just adamant, like I'm in camp cake, the rest of you are wrong. We can't discuss this further. And other people are like, you're asking me to pick which one of my children I like better. I can't, but Lauren, I got to say, I've probably asked this question now 150 times, probably, and I think your answer made me laugh.
I'm so glad.
Because of the way you just described I had my disposable fork and I was eating it in the car. I was just like, oh my God, that's awesome. That's just, so kudos to you that you in college, you learned that you could buy slices of cake for no special reason other than it's Tuesday or it's
adulting.
Friday. It doesn't matter. That's awesome. Thank you. That was the best answer for cake and pie yet. That was more fun for me than watching people squirm when they can't decide.
I'm so glad.
I also noticed though that it is kind of a family thing.
Mm-hmm.
Kinley, you grew up in a pie family. You weren't exposed to cake. Lauren, were you as a kid, cake or pie in your family?
I mean, we were more or less equal opportunists when it comes to cake or pie, but definitely a little bit more on the cake side. I come from a very Croatian family, and so when we went to Croatia when I was younger, my great aunt was serving like cake for breakfast, so I think we kind of lean a little bit more that way, and I was like, this is my kind of country.
Love that.
That's awesome. I'll leave you with the last word. Is there anything either of you want to share that we haven't touched on that needs to be said? You know,
just
what do you
don't
got?
be afraid. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Lauren.
Just don't be afraid if you are going to come to Gals Need Pals and you're going by yourself, because we know it can be a little bit intimidating, but now you've just listened to us ramble for the last hour. Hopefully you feel like you have 2 built-in friends already. We're always here to make everyone comfortable, and it's going to be awkward at first, but we promise you will leave making some sort of connection by the end of the night.
All right. Yeah. Kinley, you have anything?
Yeah. If any businesses are listening, we're always open to working with the businesses, and we're always looking for sponsorships and ways to fund Gals Need Pals. We would love to be able to make content for you on our social media or host an event at your venue. If you would like to ever work with us, please hit us up on our social media, or you can email us at galsneedpals@gmail.com.
Awesome. Kinley, Lauren, thank you both for taking the time to sit with me today. This was a lot of fun for me. I think what you're doing is very cool. It's not for me, obviously, because, hey, but I'm not offended.
It's okay.
But I do really think you've found it's not a niche. It's way bigger than a niche. You found there's a gap in the market, if you will, and I think you've identified it. And I like the way you're approaching addressing it. So kudos to both of you, and I really wish you both great success.
Thank you so much.
Hope you enjoyed the show. You can reach me on Twitter at ExploreWaState. I'd love to hear your comments. You can also visit our website at explorewashingtonstate.com. If you know anyone who would like the show, it'd be amazing if you'd share the show with them. This is the biggest way that we grow this show. Good old word of mouth. I'm glad you were here with me today, and I hope to have you listening to the next episode. See you then.